Alrighty, yo, what is going on, everybody? It's your boy, Mr. DDG94 here, back with another reaction video. Today, we finna react to how Mo to the E to the Moesha saved UPN from UPN and the tragedy that followed. This should be interesting. If we all know, we all should know about Moesha. It should have stopped after season 3, and it should have just carried on with the Parkers. But I digress. It should have carried on with the Parkers after season 3. We should have stopped at season 3. But if they was, because the bullshit that they was doing in season 4 and oh god, the bullshit they pulled in season 4 and 5 was ridiculous. It was no wonder the show got canceled. They didn't get it renewed after that 5th season. Because my god, what the fuck was they thinking? The writing just went off the wall. But anyways, though, without further ado, let's get right into this. Of course.
Hey, what's up, nostalgia fans, and welcome back to Dial-Up Days. Today, we're traveling back to January of 1995, a time when Netscape Navigator was the hottest new web browser. The show Friends was in its very first season, and 2 brand new television networks were about to learn some very expensive lessons about who actually watches television in America. 1995 was the year that UPN...
One time for the one time, bro. One time for the one time. For early WWE, meaning the 90s. And then shout out to UPN for just being a GOAT. Okay? We should give it up for UPN for being a GOAT, bro. For real. Holding it down for the brothers out here. You know, for my peoples, my culture out here. You know what I'm saying? We standing strong with UPN, and that's why we gonna be on this side over here. But UPN was definitely showing some love in the beginning, but we all know where they went. You know, we all know where they went. But yeah, shout out to them. You already know it's Black History Month. You already know. My brothers.
What they put on your sandwich? Too much goddamn mayonnaise.
I'm just saying. But anyway, still back to the video.
and the WB launched simultaneously, betting they could replicate Fox's success story from the late 1980s. Both of these networks had big ambitions, limited reach, and absolutely no idea what they were doing at the time. Well, that's not entirely fair. They knew what they wanted to do. They just hadn't figured out that the audience they were chasing didn't actually want what they were selling. This is the story of how one sitcom about a teenage girl in Los Angeles saved an entire television network from complete irrelevance. This is a story about UPN's catastrophic launch, Moesha's unexpected triumph, and the crazy programming strategy that defined a network's identity for a decade. Right up until corporate executives decided to throw it all away. Before we dive into all that, do us a favor and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And let's proceed to talk about the show that proved sometimes the best audiences are the ones you weren't even looking for. The launch. How to lose $150 million in 2 years.
Hey.
Let's start by setting the scene. In January of 1995, Paramount Television and Chris Craft Industries launched UPN, the United Paramount Network, with exactly 2 nights of programming, Monday and Tuesday from 8 to 10 p.m. That's it. 4 hours per week to justify an entire network. The strategy was deceptively simple. Target young male viewers with science fiction and action programming. And to be fair, they had a genuinely big deal of a flagship show leading their charge. The Star Trek Voyager, which premiered to a genuinely impressive 21.3 million viewers. That number was spectacular. It was also a number UPN would never even come close to again for the rest of its existence.
Dang.
Surrounding Voyager were 5 other series, all designed to appeal to that coveted young male demographic. The shows Platypus Man and Pigsty were comedy shows, while the shows titled Legend, Marker, and The Watcher were all action dramas. And by July 1995, every single one of them was canceled. All 5 of those shows lasted less than 6 months. Simply put, the financial situation was catastrophic. Within 3 months of launch, UPN and the WB had each lost an estimated $40 to $50 million. But that was just the beginning. UPN was projected to spend over $150 million in its first 2 years. By 1999, the network had accumulated $500 million in losses.
Damn.
By 2000, easily north of that $500 million mark. In 1999 alone, UPN lost over $100 million. More than the entire profit from Viacom's 19 owned television stations combined. Let that sink in for a second. An entire television network backed by Paramount Pictures was hemorrhaging money so fast that it was literally erasing the profits from nearly 20 successful local stations. The problems at play here weren't just creative issues. They were structural issues, let's say. UPN was available in only about 60% of American households at launch, which makes those Star Trek Voyager premiere numbers even more impressive. If you lived outside of a major market, you probably couldn't even find UPN on your TV. And even if you could find it, why would you watch? Star Trek Voyager was excellent if you were already a Trekkie, but what else did UPN have? By April of '95, UPN's average household rating was 4.5, reaching about 4.3 million homes. That's roughly 1/3 of what ABC was pulling and well below Fox's 7.7 rating. Network executives publicly admitted that they were searching for shows to hook the Star Trek crowd, mostly young men. Our professional translation of that is, we have no idea what we're doing, but we're pretty sure it involves young dudes who like spaceships. This was the desperate and money-losing disaster into which Moesha premiered on January 23rd of 1996. The Show, a CBS reject that becomes a UPN savior. Here's the delicious irony behind this show. Moesha wasn't even developed for UPN. This show was originally pitched to CBS, the most established and most conservative of the big 3 networks. CBS looked at a sitcom about a teenage girl living in Los Angeles and said, "No thanks, we'll pass." The show Moesha was created by Sarah V. Finney and Vita Spears, all veterans of family sitcoms like Family Matters. The show starred Brandy Norwood, the R&B singer who was already a household name thanks to her 1994 self-titled album. Brandy played Moesha Denise Mitchell, a middle-class teenager navigating everyday challenges in LA's Leimert Park neighborhood. School drama, family dynamics, first crushes, friendship conflicts. You know, the standard sitcom stuff, but grounded in authentic culture and experiences. The show premiered to modest but meaningful numbers. A 3.5 household rating, ranking 141st among all primetime programs. For most networks, those would be cancellation-worthy numbers. For UPN, however, who was desperately seeking any show that could hold an audience, Moesha was a lifeline. In some local markets, Moesha just was not successful. It was instead a phenomenon. One regional study showed Moesha achieving a 10.0 rating with a 15 share, which is triple the network's national average. The show was winning its time slot decisively in communities that UPN had never even considered targeting. Kelly Edwards, who was leading UPN's comedy division, described the revelation perfectly. Even though we were looking for men 18 to 34 and going for the family genre, our most successful shows ended up being more African-American, female-driven shows. You can develop all you want for a particular group, but if they're not going to show up for you, you have to really chase the demo that is showing up for you.
Yup. Who showed up because black women, you know what I'm saying, they needed their shows, man. They needed a show that they could rock with, especially the younger black women, especially the 90s black women. They needed their own show, man. So God, why not go crazy with Moesha? And then I think I don't know what else that led to after that, because I know Homeboys in Outer Space that happened. Oh God.
Move this man!
Whoever made that show, you need your ass whooped.
Our professional translation for you: we built this network for one audience, but a completely different audience showed up. Time to change plans. The strategy: building a network around success. Following Moesha's breakthrough, UPN made a decision that was either brilliantly pragmatic or embarrassingly obvious, depending on your perspective. They pivoted their entire programming strategy to build on what was working. The network started programming sitcoms around Moesha, creating an entire Monday night lineup. They picked up the show titled In the House, which NBC had canceled, and added series like Sparks, starring Robin.
I have to watch this at some point, because I have to rewatch this again at some. This is a good show. I have to rewatch this.
Givens. When you're a struggling network with limited reach and massive losses, you gotta follow the money. UPN's low initial ratings forced them to find the groups the other networks were not serving, and then step in and provide programming for those groups. UPN had found an underserved audience that was loyal, engaged, and hungry for programming that reflected their experiences. That strategy worked so well that Moesha became the launching pad for an entire generation of black sitcoms that would soon define UPN's identity. The Parkers, from 1999 to 2004. This was a direct Moesha spin-off starring Countess Vaughn, who played Kim Parker on Moesha, and Monique. The show followed Kim as she attended community college with her mother. It eventually became UPN's #1 comedy. Girlfriends, from 2000 to 2008. This show was created by Mara Brock Akil, who started as a writer on Moesha and would become the youngest showrunner on broadcast television at the age of 29.
Out to my black
This
queens
show
doing great
about four
things.
women navigating careers and relationships in Los Angeles became UPN's longest running series after Moesha. One on One from 2001
Yes,
to
sir.
2006.
Yes, sir. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it, cuz. Come on, cuz. You see the greatness here, man. You see the greatness here, man. One on One, classic. Half and Half is as they say. Eve.
Hear me good, nigga. I'm here to double down. That shit is a 2-pack of ass. The fuck are you talking about? That shit stinks.
All of Us was a really good show. I like All of Us. That was a really good show. And then come on, bro. Come on, dog. Everybody Hates Chris. Arguably the best show. The Last of the Dying Breed, bruh. Tuned in for every episode. This is probably one of the last shows where I tuned in for every episode each week. Every week a new episode I was intrigued by. I was like, damn, when Everybody Hate Chris gonna start? I mean, I need that. I need that, man. That's all we got, man. You know what I'm saying? I was fiending for that shit. But this is the greatness right here, man. One on One. You could throw season 5 in the trash though. Was it season 5 or season 4? What was the last season? Was it season 4? I think it was season 4. The last season, just throw that one in the trash. That one don't exist. They never went to college. It was all just a dream. They stayed in Baltimore. They did their thing in Baltimore. Yeah, we gonna act like that last season didn't exist. That last season was terrible. Oh my god. The writing for that, garbage. But Half and Half was cool. Got a decent send off. We all know about the Parkers, Girlfriends. You know, that was the women's show. That was goated. Like I said, bruh. Y'all just don't understand. For those of y'all that wasn't there, wasn't born when UPN existed, bro, y'all just don't know, man. This was like a black, just having a channel that was dedicated to like a black renaissance of just TV entertainment, whether it was good or bad. It was good or bad. Most of it was good. Okay, most of it was good, but we did have some bad. But still, though, I enjoyed this, man. We will never get a time like this ever again, dog. And I hate the fact that they won't do this no more. I hate the fact that this got taken away, because this got taken away at a pivotal time where black shows were needed, bro. But these motherfuckers just had to merge together and destroy all the black shows, keep all the white shows. They just show their true colors right then and there, bro. I hate that shit, bro.
Half and Half from 2002 to 2006, Eve from 03 to 06, All of Us from 03 to 07, and Everybody Hates Chris from 05 to 09. All sitcoms built around black families and black experiences. All successful enough to even run multiple seasons. Moesha's creator described this era with unmistakable pride. UPN's Monday night lineup for more than half a decade was a golden era as it relates to black presence on television. When we were shooting Moesha, you used to see all these black kids who were starring in TV shows come over and hang out on the set when they weren't shooting. And those of us who were older would just remark that they didn't know how special this actually was. That this had never happened before in the history of TV, period.
It'll never happen again.
Let that statement sink in for a moment. Television had existed for over 4 decades by this point. There had been successful black sitcoms beforehand. The Cosby Show, The Jeffersons, Good Times, Family Matters.
Yeah, Family Matters. I mean, it was a successful show, and it probably has the highest numbers out of all of them. But come on, bro, you put some of the most iconic black shows, and you put Family Matters right there. Okay, but anyways, I'm just saying, bro. Fresh Prince could have worked out right there. You know what I'm saying? But I understand though. Family Matters did like higher numbers than both Martin and Fresh Prince. Family Matters did higher numbers, so it's understandable. But then again, they was on ABC, so what you expect? Like, but still, though, man, there was periods where black television was just there, but we'll never have that renaissance that UPN had for us. UPN created a renaissance, bro. Just black excellence, all over the channel, bro. You couldn't escape it, bro. Like UPN was addictive, bro. Kind of like how BET was kind of addicted if you had cable. If you had cable, BET was kind of like your addiction. If you was, because you had the TV on 2 channels. You had it on UPN to watch the shows, to watch the new episodes, or you had it on BET to, cause what else am I finna watch? I mean, unless you was a sports guy, then you was watching ESPN. But aside from, or if you was a kid, you was probably watching Nickelodeon or Cartoon Network or Disney. You was watching Disney. I side eye you, but but for the most part, if you was, you was on BET or UPN, and if you didn't have cable, shit, just UPN.
But there had never been an entire programming block, night after night, featuring black creators, writers, and actors telling their stories. Moesha didn't just save UPN. It created a cultural moment. The problem: success without profit. All right, so here's the dreaded part where things get complicated, because UPN's story reveals an uncomfortable truth about American TV. Audience loyalty does not automatically translate to network profitability. Despite building genuine hits with passionate audiences, UPN continued to struggle financially. Rose Catherine Pinkney, who's UPN's former senior VP of comedy development, noted the core issue with this quote: "At the end of the day, networks live or die by how much advertisers are willing to pay for commercial time. The network's programming succeeded with audiences, but couldn't command premium advertising rates. So this was not about ratings. Moesha and its companion shows had loyal, engaged viewership. The problem was that advertisers historically undervalued Black audiences. This dynamic explains UPN's impossible paradox. A network with genuine hits and passionate audiences that nonetheless accumulated hundreds of millions in losses year after year. The shows worked. They worked well. The strategy worked. But the economics of television advertising meant that success with Black audiences wasn't valued the same as success with white audiences. Ridiculous. UPN's financial struggles persisted throughout its existence.
That's racist?
By the time Moesha ended in the year 2001, UPN had been operating at a continuous loss for 6 straight years. And despite all those successful sitcoms running throughout the early 2000s, the losses still never stopped. We're reaching the halfway point of this video, so let's pause for a quick intermission. If you are enjoying this deep dive into UPN and the show Moesha, do us a favor by hitting that like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already.
Hey, brother. I appreciate it, but watch out.
Successful. The pivot, when success becomes inconvenient. Moesha ended on May 14th of 2001 after ratings had declined from their early highs. And here's the thing about that. The cancellation itself wasn't the problem. Shows end, that just happens. What made Moesha's ending particularly frustrating was how abrupt and how unresolved it was. The finale of the show Moesha left viewers with massive cliffhangers. Someone took a pregnancy test, but we never learned who. Then the show just ended. Excuse me, what? No resolution, no closure, no nothing. Brandy would express her frustrations later in 2016. I was very, very disappointed with how the show ended. I would really love to resolve that issue.
If you want to resolve that issue, let's go back to season 4 and let's rewrite season 4. Because my God, let's take your brother out of this. Because your brother was the problem. We didn't need Dorian. We didn't need this character. He could have been a one-off. Dorian could have been a one-off character, bro. Get Ray J the fuck out of here. I'm sorry, Brandy. We love you, Brandy. We do. We love you. We adore you. You was a figure for young Black girls in the 90s and the 2000s until that car accident. Then we caught. Then people started. Then you know, their likability started to go down for them white folks. But we stuck by your side though. We stuck by your side because you already know we're gonna hold you down regardless. We know you fucked up, but hey, people fuck up sometimes. It happens.
I'm black, y'all, and I'm black, y'all, and I'm blacker than black, and I'm black, y'all.
I'm just saying though. We understand, baby. We know you didn't mean it. It just happens. But hey, you know what I'm saying? You pick yourself back up. You pick yourself up, dust your shoulders off, keep pushing. You feel me? That's what we always do. When we fall down, we pick ourselves back up. That's what we do. Because we strong like that. We strong folks. We strong folk like that. We strong. You know what I'm saying? You can't break our will. You can't break that black will, baby. You can't break that Black spirit. You feel me? Can't do it. But if we had to start somewhere, if we had to revisit and restart somewhere, let's just restart with season 4 completely, bro. Let's get rid of the Dorian story. Let's get rid of the dad being fucking. I hate what they did with Frank and his character. Frank character needed that. It was just turning him into a douchebag. I was like, damn. I know Black dads don't get a lot of love on television as is because Black dads are looked at as useless on television. and how they perceive them in the black world, even though they're like the most important figure of the household. But television will try to tell you that they don't matter. We could have did a better job with Frank. We could have did a better job with Frank. We could have developed him in a way more positive light to make black men look good. You know what I'm saying? We could have did something better than infidelity and creating Dorian for no reason. Like, why is Dorian here? Dorian should have been a one episode character, and we don't need to see him anymore. But I digress.
You even imagine being the star of a show that saved an entire network, only to have your series finale be so rushed and so incomplete that fans were still angry about it 15 years later?
Hey, yo, what
However,
the fuck?
Moesha's cancellation was just the beginning of UPN's strategic pivot. After the show ended, the network started importing programming from other networks. They acquired Buffy the Vampire Slayer and Roswell from the WB.
I ain't gonna lie, Buffy the Vampire Slayer was fire though. I ain't finna even argue with that one.
Both very, very good, excellent shows, but targeting a very different demographic than the one UPN had built its success around. Rachel True of Half and Half observed what was happening. The network, quote, had begun to import all these pretty white teenager shows, and it was very separate and unequal. UPN was slowly backing away from the programming strategy that had defined its own identity. The sitcoms continued. Girlfriends, The Parkers, One-on-One, and others were all still running successfully. But the network's attention and resources were increasingly being focused elsewhere. Going back to, again, chasing a demographic that never particularly cared about UPN in the first place. The merger, erasing a decade of progress. The end came suddenly on January 24th of 2006, when CBS's Leslie Moonves and Warner Bros. Barry Meyer announced that UPN and the WB would merge to form a new network. That network was called the CW. Rose Catherine Pinkney recalled the shock. To quote, "I got off a plane and my BlackBerry started buzzing and buzzing. I was like, what is going on? It was done in the dark of night. Nobody saw it coming." This merger had a clear priority. Take the most valuable shows from both networks and leave everything else behind. The CW initially kept Girlfriends, Everybody Hates Chris, and All of Us, 3 sitcoms that were still pulling in solid ratings. However, within months, all of the comedies were gone. The CW transformed into a drama-focused network built around shows like Gossip Girl, The Vampire Diaries, and Supernatural.
Y'all already know where this is going. Y'all already know where this is going, bro. Just play it. Just play the goddamn. Play it.
What they put on your sandwich? Too much goddamn mayonnaise. What they put on your sandwich? Too much goddamn mayonnaise. What they put on your sandwich? Too much goddamn mayonnaise.
You already know where they was heading with this. We don't even have to. It doesn't have to even be up for debate, bro.
What they put on your sandwich? Too much goddamn mayonnaise.
They pretty much said, "Fuck them black shows, get them white shows. Let's get our audience and viewership up so we can get this advertisement money. We ain't about to keep doing the same shit. Fuck them. We don't need them no more." And sure enough, we didn't have nothing to go to. We didn't have nothing to watch. We didn't have nothing to inspire us. We had to sit through fucking garbage ass Tyler Perry movies. Like, come on, bruh. The only nigga making moves is Tyler Perry. We looking at BT like, what y'all doing? Oh, we got this College Hill thing going on. I mean, that's cool and all. Y'all got some other stuff though. I mean, yeah. Then Hollywood turned on us too. Hollywood wasn't making no more hood movies for us, man. We ain't had no more hood classics for a good minute, man. We had to sit through all that mayonnaise, bro.
What they put on your sandwich? Too much goddamn mayonnaise.
We wasn't getting no love no more, bro. And it sucked, bro. It sucked. It hurt, bro. It hurt. It hurt, bro. We wasn't getting no love no more. No more. We wasn't getting no more love. It's like, that's why it's like, man, we should have created our own, bro. We should have created our own sooner than later, bro, because eventually UPN was going to turn on us too. We got to think about it, bro. Fox turned on us. CBS, they always, I already told y'all what happened to the Jeffersons. The Jeffersons was a top 5 show. They didn't care. They said it was a top 5, one of the most successful shows. Top 5, had great viewership, everything. Crossover, whether it was white or the black demographic, it was a top 5 show. And they canceled it, disrespecting them peoples that put all that hard work and effort into that show. Just because they could.
What they put on your sandwich? Too much goddamn mayonnaise.
It's a goddamn shame, bro. Even if you doing good, even if you bringing in the dollars, even if you bringing in the viewership and the dollars, you're black.
What they put on your sandwich? Too much goddamn mayonnaise.
And this is what they want instead. This bullshit here. Now, I ain't gonna get it twisted though. I ain't gonna get it twisted though. Gossip Girl was kind of fire. I ain't gonna hold you on that. That Gossip Girl was kind of fire. I ain't gonna hold you.
What they put on your sandwich? Too much goddamn mayonnaise.
Other than that though, fuck the rest of these shows though.
The impact on black creators and performers was simply devastating. Yvette Lee Bowser, producer of Half and Half and creator of the show Living Single, delivered a brutal verdict. We dubbed it the CW tsunami. It decimated a lot of the progress we made in the 80s and 90s. Kelly Edwards described the human cost with this quote: CW got rid of all the comedies and just became strictly a drama landscape. A lot of people ended up having to shift into drama, or they just dropped out altogether. Think about what that means. An entire ecosystem of black writers, producers, directors, and showrunners, people who had spent years developing their craft on UPN sitcoms, suddenly had nowhere to work. The pipeline that Moesha created, that trained creators like Mara Brock Akil and Prentice Penny, was now simply shut down. Here's the kicker. The CW didn't become profitable by abandoning UPN's strategy. As of 2022, 16 years after the merger, the CW still hadn't turned a profit. The decision to discard
That's what y'all white ass get.
Focused programming.
But maybe if y'all would have stuck with us black folks, we could have probably helped you out. But nah, let's go after the white people.
What they put on your sandwich? Too much goddamn mayonnaise.
We just want to cross over into a broader audience.
What they put on your sandwich? Too much goddamn mayonnaise.
That's racist?
Did not solve the network's financial problems. It just erased a decade of cultural progress in the name of chasing demographics that proved no more valuable than the ones they abandoned. The legacy. What Moesha left behind. So what is it that Moesha actually accomplished in its 6 seasons and its 127 episodes? On the surface, the numbers tell a story of consistent success. The show Moesha ran from 1996 to 2001, becoming UPN's second highest rated program, only behind Star Trek Voyager and its longest running series at the time. It launched a successful spin-off in the show The Parkers. It addressed serious topics. The October 1996 episode titled Labels became one of the earliest mainstream sitcoms to directly address LGBTQ+ youth issues. The show proved that a sitcom about a black teenage girl could not only find an audience, but even build its own audience. However, Moesha's real legacy goes deeper than ratings or episode counts. The show created a template and a pipeline for black creators in television. Mara Brock Akil went from Moesha writer to creating Girlfriends, The Game, and Being Mary Jane. The show proved something executives had claimed was impossible: that consistent programming centered on black experiences could build and maintain dedicated viewership. And not as a novelty or a risk either, but as a viable, sustainable strategy. Unsurprisingly, when Netflix acquired Moesha through its programming initiative in 2020, the show immediately trended in the top 10, demonstrating enduring audience demand 2 decades after its cancellation. A new generation discovered Moesha and immediately understood why it mattered.
Exactly.
Not as a historical artifact, but as a still relevant portrayal of Black teenage life. The tragedy here isn't just that Moesha ended. The tragedy is what happened afterwards. UPN spent a whole decade building a programming ecosystem around Black creators and stories. Then corporate executives decided during a merger that this success wasn't valuable enough to preserve. They dismantled it entirely, leaving an entire generation of creators without employment and audiences without representation. Just because UPN ultimately abandoned the strategy that Moesha created doesn't diminish the show's achievement. It reveals the persistent tension between programming success and corporate priorities in American TV. It shows how networks will chase audiences, build loyalty, and create cultural moments, and then discard all of it when the spreadsheets don't look right or when merger talks prioritize different demographics. Conclusion: the show that deserved better. Here's what we learned from UPN and Moesha. Sometimes the audience you find is more valuable than the audience you're looking for. UPN launched by trying to capture young men with science fiction and action programming. Instead, they found young Black viewers hungry for authentic representation. For a while, UPN actually listened to that audience and built a network around serving them. The network that replaced UPN chose a different path, however. While the CW did have periods of financial stability, abandoning UPN's Black-focused programming strategy didn't create a stronger cultural identity or long-term loyalty. What it did erase was the creative ecosystem that Moesha helped build, and all the progress that came with it. So, my fellow millennials and nostalgia fans, what do y'all think? Did you watch Moesha when it originally aired? Did the show resonate with you, or are you discovering it for the first time through streaming? Do you think the CW made a mistake by abandoning UPN's programming strategy?
Yes.
We welcome you to share your thoughts in the comments below.
We could have shared
And
it,
before
bro.
y'all get out of here, do us a favor, hit the like button.
They could have shared that programming, bro. Just let us get Monday and Tuesday, and then y'all can air the rest of y'all little weak ass bullshit mayonnaise shows Wednesday through Friday, bro.
What they put on your sandwich? Too much goddamn mayonnaise.
Just give us the first 2 days of the week, bro. That's all we need. Black people just want to come home and enjoy some television, bro. We just want to come home and enjoy some infotainment. But nah, we gotta go to the mayonnaise. We gotta go to the mayonnaise, well, because we want to go to a broader audience, aka the mayonnaise.
What they put on your sandwich? Too much goddamn mayonnaise.
It's okay though. Y'all, you still ain't succeeding. You still ain't making no money. You still broke. You still scratching. You still in them dirty ass, stanky ass booty drawers from back in the day. You ain't been able to change your clothes since. When's the last time you been able to afford anything besides some baloney? When's the last time you been able to afford anything other than some tuna or some bologna? You know what I'm saying? You ain't been able to do that. You ain't even eating. We over here eating steaks and shrimp. Steaks and shrimp, baby. We finger licking good, baby. You over here struggling and shit. That's what you get with your punk ass. Should have listened. Should have loved us. You should have appreciated us. Because we was loving y'all. We was appreciating y'all. We showing y'all love. We giving y'all all the praise in the world. This how y'all repay us. We good. We good. You know what I'm saying? You know, I was always hoping that one day somebody could buy the rights to the UPN, trademark and bring that shit back and bring it back the way how it was. Give us another one of those Black Renaissance type of, give us another Black Renaissance, man. We need that. We need that. We need that right now. We need something. We need something to look at, man. All these people out here on social media, on YouTube, you got all these Tubi movies out here and shit. And you mean to tell me we ain't working on no black network just for us, by us, for us? Come on, man. You need to. All these rappers and all this shit, they want to put their money up for these relief efforts for all these fucking tragedies and fucking thunderstorms and shit, and all these motherfucking immigrants and shit. But nah, we ain't putting our money together to take care of us. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is, though. I'm just calling it for what it is. I'm not saying anything wrong. I'm just calling it for what it is.
Oh, 911? No, I ain't calling a snitch. I got a real emergency.
What they put on your sandwich? Too much goddamn mayonnaise.
Motherfuckers eating too much of that mayonnaise, bro. Y'all need to get some hot sauce in your life. You get some hot sauce and some seasoning on that food every now and again, boy. Y'all out here eating the mayonnaise sandwiches and shit. Hanging out with them white folks eating the mayonnaise sandwiches and shit. You need to get back in touch with your roots. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, so that's just gonna about do it for this one, man. Sucks what UPN did to. Sucks what UPN. It sucks what UPN and it sucks that merger fucked everything up and destroyed a black renaissance of black television that we was surely enjoying, but it is what it is. But anyways, I'll see you on the next video. Till then, this is.